Me and my family migrated over to New Zealand when I was about 2 years old from the UK. Real happy childhood, loving parents, never went short of anything, just heaps of love in the home. As a child, I was quite shy, very introverted, quite weird obsessions as well. But loved being the class clown. It was attention, and always gravitated towards naughty kids. When I was 13 years old, I started experimenting with cannabis. My parents went out one night, my sister rolled up a joint, and yeah, it was my first experience with drugs, and I just absolutely loved it straight away. So I just started using more and more. What was just a recreational use on weekends started eventuating into a few times a week, and then before I knew it, I was a daily smoker. School just started to drop off, just really started to lose interest in it. All I wanted to do was just go skating and get high. Started partying a lot more on the weekends, drinking alcohol. Friends had stopped drinking at night. I'd always be the last one to stop drinking. They'd be sitting down for breakfast in the morning and I'd be the first one to just crack open a beer. So that continued. I started experimenting with harder drugs, speed, ecstasy, LSD, mushrooms. And then New Year's of 1999, I tried meth for the first time. This is when crime stepped up. My habit just got bigger, started getting into quite a lot of burglaries. Then I ended up getting sentenced to some jail time in Waikaria prison. The years of intravenous meth abuse started taking its toll onto my mind, and I started suffering from quite bad psychosis. Started isolating a lot, just didn't want to be around people. You know, a beautiful daughter that I didn't even want to know, my addiction was just too strong. Started getting tired of the lifestyle, and so I took steps to better my life. The weekend before, I was meant to go into this residential treatment. I ended up having a bad car accident due to being awake for too long, and ended up severing a girl's leg tendons, and it was pretty bad car accident. Got remanded in custody for a bit, but because of the steps I'd taken to better my life, they let me go to residential treatment. I actually graduated that this time. I had in my mind that if I had certain things in my life that it'd keep me clean, and I thought if I had a pretty missus who didn't do drugs, living in the country, place with a white picket fence and a job, then I'd sort of be healed. But that wasn't the case. I ended up with all those things, and it still just didn't fill me. My mental health really started deteriorating, and my partner at the time just said she couldn't continue to be with me and just basically watching me kill myself. We broke up. I was in a real low point in my life. Psychosis was terrible, and one morning after using, something just snapped in me, and I was like, I just want out. I can't do this anymore. I just can't do it. My sister said she had a bad feeling. She came round to the house with her son, was banging on the doors, no answer. Found one window open, and she put her son through the window. Came and unlocked the front door. She came in, shouting out my name, couldn't find me. She went into the bathroom, and I was lying in the bathtub, just eyes rolled back, just covered in vomit. She called the ambulance, and the paramedics said that if she hadn't found me, or if no one had found me within the next 3 minutes, that I would have been dead.
I just started to pray straight away, and so we came to the hospital and from there to home. So that was where he was for 4 days.
I don't remember anything. Last thing I remember was just fading when I was in the bathtub. And the next thing I remember was part of the way through the coma, and it was just pitch black, and it just felt like I was fighting for my life.
He hated his addiction, and so the depression really kicked in, but then he couldn't stop using because he was in so much physical pain. So like your addiction just got out of control. So it was like you hated it, but you couldn't stop it.
Some of my mates who also had addiction issues in the past had accepted Jesus into their life, and they came down from Auckland and sat at my bedside for a day or two, just laying hands on me, praying for me. The prophetic word that God gave him was I'd make it out of the coma alive with no brain damage. I'd be leading a ministry for people with addiction issues, and that I was going to be a pastor. I made it out of the coma. I made a promise to myself in there, no more drugs, no more meth. Got out of the psych ward and started smoking cannabis. Probably within 3 weeks, I had a needle back in my arm and I was just up to the same old stuff. Was losing hope again, and I'd just been to the needle exchange on K Road. I had an encounter with God. The voice actually said to me was, "Get out of here while you're still alive." I couldn't deny what that voice said to me, and I was literally sprinting through Auckland CBD just to get to the bus station because I just knew that I just had to get out of Auckland right then, right there on the spot. So I decided to get a bus back down home to the Mount. I think it was the second or third day I'd been there, and I just got this urge to get down on my knees and just pray. And I wasn't the type of person to pray, and I got down on my knees and lifted my arms in the air and just said, "Look, I know you're out there, whatever you are sort of thing, just give me strength to carry on doing this. I don't want to go back to the life I was living." I literally got up off my knees, went outside for a cigarette, and standing outside was a mate who I hadn't seen for about 10 years, who I used to use a lot of meth with, standing there. She was in tears and she said, "I'm 3 years clean now. Let me help you on this journey to stay clean." I was staying clean, and I was at a public forum one day. A lady came up to me and she said, "God's placed it on my heart to ask you to come along to church." It was the first time I experienced the love of the Father. I could just feel his love just pouring into me, and it was sort of like every single bad thing I'd done in my life, every mistake I'd made, every bit of guilt, every bit of shame, just everything just leaving me, just him just healing my heart with his love. You know, I made a decision that day to become a follower of Christ, and I just spent a good year just building a real solid relationship with Jesus. I'd just sit there for hours and hours each day, just speaking to him and just reading his word, and he really revealed himself to me and who he is, just how much he loves me, how much he is for me, and my life just started dramatically changing. I was just completely set free. Then Jesus just started bringing all these people into my life who were suffering from addiction issues, and he's really placing it on my heart to just ask them to come along to church. We started seeing quite a lot of people who had meth addictions giving their hearts to Jesus, and also a lot of them getting baptized and set free. And this just continued. God really shaped it into something special to where today that everything was prophesied over me has it's come to pass. I lead quite a large ministry for people with addiction issues, and My life is just completely different than it was. It's just a full 180. You know, I have a beautiful relationship with my daughter, who's now 14 years old. God's blessed me with a beautiful wife. You know, He's blessed me with 2 boys as well.
I'm so proud of you, Paul. I tell him so much. I'm so proud of you, Paul, for the person that you are today. I always knew that that person was there because you just got lost.
Thanks for praying for me all those years. Thank you.
Yeah.
If you are losing hope and if you are lost, I just encourage you to go to your local church and just to get involved, as I know how healing just being in community actually can be, and just help you find your true potential in Jesus, who you really are in Jesus, people to do life with and just to connect with.